Good morning, it's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself. Today we are going to talk about how to heal, what you must do, 100% must do in order to help your body heal itself. Get excited because you're going to learn something today that is so valuable and going to be so instrumental on your healing journey, I promise. For those of you out there who have chronic illness, chronic pain, you're in chronic suffering, whether it's emotional or physical, I want you to watch this video in its entirety because the answers are here. The answers that you've been looking for are in this video, and it's really key. And it might seem simple, especially if you've been at this a long while. You might think, I get this, I know this, pass, skip. Don't do that. Really take this video in, because if you don't do this one step, no matter what else you do, no matter how good your other protocols are, you're not going to be able to heal, and it may be the thing that is keeping you stuck. I want to give you an answer. I know a lot of you have been searching. You've been searching for supplements, you've been searching for diets, you've been searching for healing your trauma, you've been searching for doing the inner work, you've been searching for doing everything that you can to heal your body. And I want to give you an answer, a really important answer that is very much overlooked when it comes to healing, and something that you have to do, must do if you want to heal. Your central nervous system is either in sympathetic mode or parasympathetic mode. I have a lot of videos on the fight, flight, freeze response that you can go check out, but let's just get down right to the brass tacks here. If your body is in sympathetic mode, that means by default that your adrenaline is pumping, you're scanning your environment for danger, and you're in a mode of trying to solve a problem, get away from a problem, self-protect. You are basically trying to keep yourself free from danger in a certain sense, and you're activated. Your fight or flight system is activated. When you are in this mode, it is impossible for you to heal. It is not the healing mode. You can only rest, digest, and heal when you're in parasympathetic mode. When your system is calm, it can digest, it can rest, it can heal. Those of you who are chronically ill, you are always in a sympathetic mode. You are always in fight or flight. And this is why you can't heal. A lot of you say, but I'm resting. You know, those of you with chronic fatigue might even say, I don't even get out of bed. How can I be activated? I'm not running, I'm not fighting. But I'm going to ask you, what is your mind doing when you're in bed? Is it worrying? Is it catastrophizing? Is it future thinking? Is it looking into the past and reliving trauma? My question to you is, what is your mind doing? And is it putting you in fight or flight even when you appear to be totally mentally fatigued and exhausted? If the answer is yes, that means that this is good. Because if you can turn your fight or flight system off, if you can get into true healing mode, then you have a chance, your body has a chance to take over and do what it does best. Your body is always looking to heal. We are simply getting in the way of giving it a chance. Now, a lot of this is subconscious. Okay, so there's no blame to go around here. And when you start to think to yourself like, oh my God, I'm in sympathetic mode, I'm stressed out, now I'm doing this to myself. By beating yourself up, you're actually creating more stress. So actually beating yourself up will only dig you further into that hole. This is a snowball rolling downhill that picks up steam and grows bigger, stronger, and faster. You are in a pattern that has your scanning mode turned on constantly. And this is what you are meant to do in order to survive. You are meant to stay safe, stay out of danger, scan, brainstorm all the problems, try to think of all the solutions, worry. You're programmed to do this so that you survive. This is a survival mode. You will not heal in this mode. So while you will survive, you won't heal. And it actually makes you sick. It makes you sicker to be in this mode. So we have to be able to determine real danger from false danger. And I am going to tell you that if you're chronically ill, if it's a chronic condition that's been going on for a long time, like chronic pain, chronic symptoms, chronic fatigue, chronic suffering, right? Then you do not have a real imminent danger on your hand. We must know that 90% of the things that we are thinking about, worrying about, running from, trying to solve are not truly critical to our survival. They're not truly real. Now, how does this help you, right? Because you're still doing it and you're caught up in these subconscious programs. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's break it down. Let's figure out how we can stop this and get out of this. The body heals when we stop getting in our own way. This is truth, okay? So doing nothing is far greater than doing even the most amazing things for your supportive. If you're doing them in a way that causes you stress or to feel frantic or like, oh my God, I have to do this, then it's not actually helping you. So if you're eating a wholesome diet, but you're freaked out about it and you're trying to get it right and you can't do it, that diet is causing you more harm than actually doing nothing. But if you're eating the diet and you're feeling totally relaxed and at peace with it, and you're like just eating calmly and feeling great about it and imagining how good it is for your body, then you're in the healing mode, then you're in parasympathetic mode. So do you see the difference, the mental shift difference? It matters what state you're in. It matters whether your central nervous system is activated or deactivated. It matters whether your stress response is turned on or off. This is where healing happens. No matter what supplements, no matter what protocols, no matter what amazing supportive things that you're doing for your body, if you're not doing it from the mode that your stress response is turned off, it's not working. If your stress response is turned off and you're doing all of those things, then you are going to heal amazingly. But if your stress response is turned off and you're not doing any of them, you're still going to heal, because it's your stress response turning off that is the key. If nothing you're doing is working, this is why. It's because you might be doing all the right things, but from the wrong state. And all you need to do is change that one thing. And then all those things that you're doing are going to snowball in the right direction. Yes, we have to support our body to heal in a healing way. But we always think we have to do something, take action, right? Fix it, run from it, solve it. And what we're actually doing is ramping up this system because we're frantic as we're doing it. Like, oh my God, how do I solve this? You're not going to solve it because you're in fight or flight, and you can't heal when you're in that mode. So the number one thing you need to do is let your body do the healing, and you focusing on the calming down, the being relaxed. If you broke a bone, you wouldn't be sitting around thinking, how do I heal this? Or if you had a cut, you wouldn't be thinking about how you're gonna heal this faster, and oh my God, and you wouldn't be frantically running around trying to solve this problem or run away from it. You would forget about it. You would go on with your life, and you would know that the body's got it. And in being so relaxed, the body can do what it does best, which is heal. Your body is going to send inflammation signals, pain signals. It's going to send things in order to heal. This hurts. This is part of the healing process. If we can accept that it's not trying to kill us, that it's actually trying to heal us, so we can stay calm, get out of the way, keep our body in relaxed mode by talking slowly, thinking slowly, moving slowly, walking slowly, focusing on things that make us happy, joyful, bring us pleasure, like moving, getting on with our lives. These are all important. And when the emotions come up so strongly saying, look at me, I can't cope, then feel those emotions. They're asking you to feel them. So we don't feel the pain, we feel the emotion underneath it. That's what we're going for here. When the symptoms arise, when they're at full force, our immediate and natural response to that is stress. Is, oh my God, I'm on fire. How do I get out of this? How can I save myself? How can I run? How can I fight? How can I flee? I'm in trouble. I hate this. I want this to go away. This is a normal, natural reaction to pain. But as soon as we think that, you must see that that turns on the stress response. And now we're literally activating our system to find a way out. Mentally, emotionally, physically. What can you do? Where can you go? What can you say? How do you get rid of this pain? What happened? How did you get here? What was the trigger? right? As soon as we start our mind spinning, we're starting that activation. And the activation is that scanning, that on alert, how can we get out of danger response. Even if you're just sitting still, thinking all of this in your mind, ramping yourself up and you haven't done anything, you've gone from pain to now you're in fight or flight response. Because literally you're thinking, how can I get out of this? And as soon as you think that, or what happened to create this, and you start to spin, your mind starts to spin, you're now in sympathetic mode, you're now in fight or flight. And what happens is this is a circle. As soon as you think that, the symptoms get even higher, okay? And as soon as the symptoms get higher, you think more thoughts that are even higher ramped up. And as soon as you think those higher ramped up thoughts, your symptoms go up even more. So you can see that this is a circular pattern, and we must break the circle consciously, because subconsciously we're just gonna keep snowballing. We know that. That's your biological human nature. So again, no blame, this is what happens. But we must consciously take a stab, draw a line, become aware. That's always our first step. Awareness, I see it. And if you can catch yourself here, if you can become aware, better off never to even go there, but I know that's not gonna be the case, so better to catch yourself and become aware. Just like literally become aware. And as soon as you do, you have to break the pattern in real time, right here, right now. So how do we break the pattern? Just sit still. Now, I know the symptoms rise when we're still. They even seem to get more intense, right? Sitting and allowing something to attack you, like symptoms of pain while you're just sitting still, seems very unnatural, right? Our natural biological reaction and tendency is to fight or flee or freeze this off because we're in danger. So sitting seems counterintuitive, and it also seems almost next to impossible to do because we're created to run from danger. We're created to try to solve and get to safety. And so we can't feel calm until we literally get to safety. And that's why we never feel calm when we're talking about symptoms or chronic pain, because if they don't turn off, we can't feel safe. The problem is they're not going to turn off because they're in a subconscious loop. This is why chronic pain is so hard, because we have to do the manual work of turning these off, of literally turning these off while we feel like we're under threat and in danger. And we couldn't possibly sit by while we're being attacked and just allow it to happen, right? And slow down our talking and our breathing. It doesn't seem natural. But yet, if we want to break this snowball from going downhill, no matter how unnatural it feels and no matter how crazy it makes you, because you feel like you're going to be consumed and swallowed up by these symptoms or this pain, you must break the pattern somewhere. And if you wait for the symptoms to stop before you can take a breath and calm your body and your mind, you're going to be waiting a long time. They are not going to shut off willingly because they have a message for you. This is not working. Your life's not working. Your relationships aren't working. Your patterns aren't working, right? You're holding in all this amount of stress that you have going on isn't working. Shoving down and suppressing your feelings and emotions isn't working, right? It's telling you. And so we need to stop reacting to the pain and start consciously choosing a different reaction, to slow down, to allow, and then instead of focusing on, because we know the pain and the symptoms are going to increase when we slow down, and we're going to have to allow them. We're going to have to, for a period of time, this isn't going to be forever, but for a period of time, we're going to have to come to terms with the fact that it's going to feel terrible. It's going to feel counterproductive. It's going to feel like we can't manage. But when we do, and we listen, and instead of focusing on the actual pain, the actual symptom, if we can focus on our feelings, our emotions about the symptom, about the pain, is it causing you terrible grief, anger, despair, heartbreak, envy, jealousy? Is it causing you to feel abandoned? I mean, what is the emotion that is causing you to suffer? And when we can focus on this emotion, then the body feels heard, right? Because the pain isn't the problem. The pain is the signal. And however it's making you feel, your emotions underneath the pain or the symptom are really what you want to be focusing on in those moments where you become still and that increases to a level that you don't think you can cope with. You want to find out why and what emotion that brings up in you. We're running from how the symptom makes us feel, from the emotion that we don't think we're strong enough or good enough, or that we can't cope with for whatever reason. And that's the emotion that we need to sit with. That's the emotion that's begging us to have the inner healing work and the inner child work done on it, right? To love it, to give that child what it needs to feel calm, secure, capable, to know that it can sit with this. Now, when we break this pattern enough, it's like taming a wild horse. When we stop this subconscious snowballing pain or symptom pattern, the pain starts to diminish on its own over time, because it's like, oh, she's not reacting to this. She's not fighting it anymore. She's not trying to run away. She's not trying to get away. So I don't have to increase even more, right? Because she's not running. She's with me. She's listening. She's hearing. She's calm. She's breathing. She's slow. She's staying in sympathetic. She's reminding me that I am safe. I'm not in danger. I can calm down, right? The pain eventually, like a wild horse, gets broken over time. It's not instant. It's over time. So you really, if you want to heal, this is the magic, because this is so hard, it will blow your mind. It seems like the simplest thing, and the problem is actually doing it. This is the hard part. This takes dedication, practice, awareness, and then the willingness to sit through the most uncomfortable feelings, physical and emotions that rise, and to be there and to love yourself through that. I can do anything but that, because I don't want to accept this pain, right? I want to find a solution. I want to find a way out. And of course you do. You're human. But as long as you keep recklessly looking for a way out and fighting yourself, running from yourself, you're going in circles, my friend. You're rolling a snowball downhill. Actually feeling safe and actually getting in that parasympathetic mode takes love, compassion, and kindness for yourself. When you do that, you can feel like you're coming home to yourself. And most of us with chronic illness want to be anywhere but in our bodies, right? We don't want to be in our bodies. We feel most uncomfortable when we're with ourselves, when we're in our own bodies, when we're experiencing our own symptoms in our own lives. We don't feel at home. We don't feel at peace. We don't feel loved. And we're begging, we're crying out, we're dying to come home. And where is home? Home is like that moment that after you were birthed, lying in your mom's arms, feeling comforted, loved, totally wrapped up in peace, and like you were totally sheltered and taken care of, loved unconditionally. This is what we're all searching for, that feeling of coming home to complete peace. Because when we feel safe, then our body is safe to heal. When we feel completely loved by ourselves and safe, then we know we're home, and we know this is everything's gonna be okay. Our body gets the innate sense that it's safe to heal now. So this is what I want for you. I hope that you're taking the magic from this video that is in here. This is the key, right? Going from sympathetic to parasympathetic mode, and how we do this, how we can actually live there, because then your body can actually heal. All right, so let's just list all the ways that we can actually do this. So let's start with the most obvious, deep breathing, right? We want to slow down our breathing, okay? Slow it down. Take conscious belly breaths right from your diaphragm. Really concentrate on your exhale. Your exhale is where you relax. The exhale is where you go into parasympathetic. So we really want to do that. Second thing is we can slow down our mind. By doing this, we try to clear the thoughts, right? So we can slow down our speaking, we can slow down our thinking, the actual words in our brain. We can slow down the conversation that we have with other people, or even better, we can sit in full-on meditation and slow everything down. So that leads to number 3, which is meditation. Now, meditation a few times a day will really help to remind you to break out of your daily conscious awareness, break out of all your patterns, and just reset. Okay, it's like a reset. It's like an awareness. However long you sit there and meditate for a half an hour, you're in awareness. So meditation is a great practice. I even suggest doing this, not just at night before you go to bed, as you're falling asleep, as you're trying to fall asleep. I like to say, if you can't sleep, meditate. Say, okay, I'm going to meditate for an hour. Well, that's a perfect time to do it, and you will be sleepy by the end. But I also like to meditate midday. So midday at 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, this is the time. This is really the real work, right? Because usually at this point in the day, we're starting to go into our subconscious patterning. We're starting to get frustrated. We're starting to get worn out. We're starting to get tired, maybe cranky, frustrated. And this is the time when we want to catch those patterns. This is the time when we can bring it back. So it's usually midday when we really need this break to be like, okay, I'm going to reset, right? We can start over again. It's almost like waking up again in the middle of the day. Which brings us to number 4, which is yoga. Yoga is a great way to stimulate your body, but not overstimulate it. To push it, but not overactivate it. And then you're holding poses, you're in awareness, and you're relaxing and almost doing a meditative form. Especially if you're doing some sort of a restorative yoga or Kundalini yoga, you're gonna be, focusing on the energies and the breath work. And so this is a great tool to help get our body into parasympathetic. Number 5 is sleep. And of course I would put this right up at the top, but you want to get a good sleep every single night. When you're in sleep, you're in the ultimate parasympathetic state. This is where your body heals, right? So even though during the day, if you're not sleeping, you can rest. You can literally just rest your body. So rest is good, but ultimately sleep, and deep sleep, is going to be your best friend to getting into that state. And especially when you wake up in the morning out of deep sleep is when that sympathetic mode gets activated and it sort of revs you up. It gives you the energy you need to get out of bed, but that also might turn on your worry or your pain or whatever it is. So we want to be conscious to wake up slower, to settle into waking, right away, to do our deep breathing and maybe do another activity that lengthens this parasympathetic mode, right? Like yoga or meditation right in the morning, something that can kind of prolong that, not shock us out of it into symptoms or into this activated state. Number 6 is releasing muscle tension. So a lot of people like to do this through pressure points, massage, all good things to release muscle tension. But the way I like to do it, and what I really like you to focus on, is muscle tension releasing through your mind, because this is where muscle tension happens. So just notice, are you tensing certain muscles in your body? Are you tensing your face? Are you tensing your brain? Tensing your head? Is your stomach tight? So we want to consciously loosen these places, relax them, let your shoulders fall, right? Open your jaw, release the tension and the muscles behind your eyes. So just this one exercise alone, if you consciously release tension all day, maybe every half an hour throughout the day, you do like a 5 to 10 minute just releasing tension through your brain. You just focus on the parts of the muscles that are tense and you release them. This is gonna go one of the longest ways to helping you stay and get into parasympathetic mode. And it's actually my favorite one because no matter what is triggering you, you can always think, where am I holding my tension? You can release, you can soften, you can let it go, you can let it slump, you can let your stomach out, you can let the muscles just go limp and tired and release them, and you can often feel them. Now, for people who don't know how tight they are, I like to actually tighten and then release. So if you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm really holding any muscles, then really squeeze your face muscles. You know, as long as you can, as tight as you can. And then release it. Then release it. And then you feel that like release. If you're not sure if you're holding tension in your stomach, really tighten it. Right? Like tighten it, like almost like someone could punch it. And then you release. Same with your shoulders, your feet. You just tense up those muscles as tight as you can for as long as you can, and then you release them. This is like showing you how much tension is there. And once you can kind of focus on that area, then you can really see the subtleties of the muscles that you're holding. You can be like, oh yeah, man, I'm really holding. Oh, I can release more. I can release more tension. I can let more go. Yes, I feel that muscle. I feel that right there. And you do it with your mind. Because when you do it through pressure points or trigger points or massage, you're often just creating sometimes more inflammation to the area. You might be creating more attention to a symptom than you want to give it. So it's more like a subtle release and letting go. The other thing I like to do is have a good scream or a good cry. So I know this is kind of counterintuitive, right? We're trying to relax. Why would we want to have a hysterical cry or hysterical scream? Well, a lot of times when we snap at people, that's what anger is about, right? It's about the release of tension. Or if we just can't take it anymore, we fall apart crying. It's the release of the tension. So if we do feel our emotions rising, and we can feel whether it's more of like an anger or rage or an active tension, then we might want to just take a deep breath and scream as loud as we can into a pillow, because it's the release that comes after that tension is relieved, after that scream is released, that helps us get into parasympathetic mode. Just like an animal running away, you know, they're in total fight or flight, but then afterwards they just right down into parasympathetic. And that's what the big visceral scream does. Same with the cry. If we feel those feelings of grief and hopelessness or whatever start to rise, we take advantage of those. We don't stuff them back in. We feel them. We allow our body to cry. Cry, cry, cry. I know you're not in parasympathetic mode when you're feeling all this and you're crying, but this is your body releasing it, believe it or not. This is how it processes it through, right? It's how you move through it. And so after you're done the cry, have you ever noticed you feel really good after you're done? After you're done crying, you feel calm, you feel more relaxed. That is the parasympathetic mode at work. And when you're in it, you really relish in it. You really now give yourself comfort, self-love, self-care, make yourself that tea, really breathe, do the things that you need to do to stay there. So it's not the act of screaming or the act of crying that really is the key. It's what comes after, and you can extend that, and you can make it even better by just lengthening that that release and that relief you get after those are done. So when feelings are rising to the surface, right, we want to feel them. This is why we want to feel them, because we want to let those feelings go all the way to the physical part. So not just we're feeling anger, but we want to let it go all the way until we literally feel like we want to scream, and then we allow ourselves to, not someone else, in our pillow, in our room with the door closed, right? But we allow that out. Same thing with crying. We may not feel it appropriate to be crying all the time, but if we're feeling those feelings and we're letting them rise and we're being with them, we don't stuff them back in. We want to feel them all the way until we get the physical release. Same with anxiety, the shaking, right? The shaking or the panic. You want to feel it. Allow yourself to feel the fear until you literally have the physical symptoms that go along with it, right? The shaking or the trembling or whatever it is that your body is doing in that situation. Sometimes we literally feel like we need to run or get away when we're in anxiety or a panic attack. Let your body feel, let those feelings rise and rise and rise, and then you let your body actually take the action. Run, go for a sprint down the street. Sprint for 1 minute at full speed, 30 seconds at full speed. And when you're done, have you ever felt how it feels after you run? You're breathing through your mouth, you're doing mouth primal breathing, like you're breathing, your body is like recuperating, it's slowing down, and you feel this like wave of, oh my God, it's over. This relief washes over your body, your breathing starts to regulate from this primal burst that you had. So run. If you're feeling that anxiety, if you're feeling that restlessness and all the anxious and worries in the future, go for a run. Let it rise. Let those feelings all the way until you have the physical release. So we want to make sure that we have the literal physical release to the feelings that are rising. Let them rise all the way. Let them have the physical release that they're wanting, whether it's a scream, a cry, running, fighting, maybe you are punching a pillow, whatever that feeling is that needs to rise, we want it to come out. We want to feel it. We want to know that we're not afraid of it. We want to remind our body that we are safe to feel it. And then we want to let it out because that's how it passes through. That's how it deactivates, and that's how we come out of it into parasympathetic mode, into the healing state, which is the state we want to be. And if we're too busy trying to suppress it or push it down or hold it back or not feel it, we're never, ever, ever going to get to that state. So that's why you, even though the feelings are not putting you in that state, eventually and ultimately, as you feel them and process through it, you come out the other side into the state that we want. And then you take advantage of that state and you lengthen that state with your deep breathing, with a nice cup of tea, with like sunshine on your face, whatever makes you feel the most calm, the most loved and held and safe in this parasympathetic mode that you've now created for yourself. Another great thing you can do is hug someone. Feel loved. Now, specifically, this would be the person that makes you feel the most loved and the most loved and the most safe in your life. Whether that person is a parent, a super close friend, a family friend, whether it's even your child, your spouse, your partner, whoever that person is that you feel is loving and can make you feel safe, right? Vulnerable, okay to let down your guard. You want to just say, can I hug you? Can you just hug me? Can you just love me for a while? And just let yourself fall into their arms. Feel safe enough to just crumble into them. Put your head on their chest, hear their heart beating. Let them hug you and cradle you in their arms and just hold you. Even skin on skin if it's appropriate, if it's a partner or a young child like a baby. This is how we feel safest. Skin on skin, heart to heart, right? In someone's arms. The way you felt when you were a wee baby, protected and cuddled in your mother's arms. Now, you may not be able to get this feeling or this sensation back again, but you want to get that feeling of safety, just feeling loved by someone, protected, taken care of, and just like they've got you, that warm embrace, the feeling of being taken care of is something that cannot be overlooked. Okay, number 9, I want you to turn off the bright lights. Put the cell phone down. Stop giving yourself eye strain, brain strain, right? Loud sounds, bright lights, loud noises. I know we all look at our phone, we all scroll through our phone, we think we are distracting ourselves from the pain, and we're working our eyes, we're overworking our eyes with blue light, the close-up eye strain, Both of those things are so detrimental to your health. Put down your phone. It overstimulates you. It's no good. Listen to what's on it. Close the lid. Don't stare at it and don't scroll. It's the scrolling motion with your eyes, up and down, that deep, close focus on something bright that's close to you that causes this tension and strain in your eyes, right? These are physical things that you can do. You can do physical things to help yourself get out of fight or flight and into the healing mode. But we have to do them. We can't say, oh, but I need my phone. I need to distract myself. I need to scroll. I need to look at this. Or I can't dim my lights at night. You know, I can't shut all my lights off and just put on a little candlelight glow, even the battery operated candles, right? You can. You absolutely can. You can do things like wearing blue blocking glasses. You can, you know, wear earplugs or those headphones that go over your ears and block out sound. You can do this when you're overstimulated. And I promise this is something you're not going to want to do, but if you do it, it will help so much. You will be so surprised at the amount of physical tension that you don't get during the day that leads to symptoms and chronic pain. If you just do this thing, like don't look at your phone, don't have bright blaring lights and really, really loud sounds and overstimulated people around you. Right? Get out of the minefield, get out of the war. When you notice you're in an environment that is overstimulating, you got to recognize it right away and stop. You have to create a relaxing, healing environment. And that doesn't include these things that seem like everyone else can deal with and we can't. It's not that you can't deal with them, but it is putting an extra added stress load on your body. It's stimulating that fight or flight nervous system, and it's keeping you in a sympathetic state, whether you know it or not. Bright lights, loud sounds, computer screens, they all keep you in sympathetic mode. Turn them off, turn them down. Don't be looking at them, right? Get away from the loud, chaotic things in your life, whether they're physical or people or whatever. You have to become aware and change your environment to be conducive to getting into the parasympathetic mode. And lastly, self-love. Whenever we remind ourselves that we are safe, that we're worthy, that we're good enough, that we're valuable, that we're loved, that we're fully accepted, and we stay with ourselves through all the uncomfortable feelings, emotions, sensations, whatever it is that we're having, we remind ourselves that we're safe. We'll remind ourselves that we're loved. And when we feel that sense of peace and like we're home in our own body, we're loved, we're safe, we're here, then we are in parasympathetic. This is one of the best ways to get into that mode, is continually be there for yourself, love yourself, accept yourself, speak kindly and with compassion to yourself, and remind yourself that you are safe. It's okay. It's okay. You are okay. All is well. Well, this has been a long video, but a very important one. It's jam-packed with healing, wisdom, and tips that you need. You absolutely must 100% do this if you want to heal. You must get into the healing state. So I hope this video has been helpful. I hope you've gained something out of it. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. And give it a like, and I will see you in the next video.